Hi everyone, my name is William from Own This Property and a very happy Chinese New Year to you. A new year brings new properties and opportunities, and 2025 is set to be a very exciting year due to increased GLS supply. And because there are so many launches out there, you might be feeling lost. So I'll be doing my quickfire analysis in this video of all the properties coming up this year, their pros and cons, what I like and don't like about them, and rank them against one another. This is our yearly tradition at Own This Property, the signature Ultimate Guide to New Launches 2025 edition. Since it's going to be a very long list, this video will be part 1 where I'll be covering OCR properties, followed by part 2 where I'll cover RCR properties, and finally part 3 where I'll cover CCR properties. And if you'd like to receive a copy of the Ultimate Guide to New Launches 2025 edition, just fill up the Google form in the link below and I'll be happy to send it to you. There are over 30 projects launching in 2025, and for the purpose of this video, I will be excluding any of the developments that have less than 100 units because smaller or boutique developments behave like a totally different asset altogether. Eventually, when a good project is launched, I'll be doing my usual deep dive analysis, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified when that video comes out. For this video, the analysis will be streamlined into a tiered ranking system, so I'll be comparing projects holistically, notwithstanding the price. Now, the first factor I'll be looking at is the quality factor, looking at the developer track record, facilities, and the size of the development. Next, I'll look at the location factors such as proximity to MRT, good schools, and amenities. Third, I'll be looking at the appreciation potential factors such as URA transformation, future government land sales, and also existing resale performance. And last, the exit strategy factors will be looking at identifying who will be your future buyers of your property and also the demand and supply dynamics of the area. In 2025, there will be 11 new launches in the OCR. First up, we have Bagnall Haus. As of this recording, Bagnall Haus is already 65% sold and at an average price of about $2,450 per square feet. And it is also the only freehold OCR new launch in our list this year. Developed by Roxy Pacific, this is a small size development of about 113 units. While it is small, it is not considered boutique and the surrounding properties are also small in size. So size is not a huge factor or negative over here. The key positive is that it is a rare freehold plot that is one stop away from the future integrated development at Bedok South MRT. Certain blocks are also within 1 km of the popular Temasek Primary, and the biggest draw is it sits at the edge of the upcoming Bayshore district. So you can expect a huge pool of HDB upgraders who might consider upgrading to a development next to an MRT, and freehold lovers will also like it a lot as well. All in all, it has good attributes and upside potential, but because we have to factor in its smaller size, as well as the Long Island transformation being about 5 or maybe even 10 years away from being realized, I do have to expect a longer holding period if you were to buy this. So Bagnall Haus gets a B ranking. Next, what should be the most anticipated new launch of the year, happening right after Chinese New Year, is Parktown Residences at Tampines North. Developed by UOL, Singapore Land, and Capital Land, this will be a mega integrated development that is linked to Tampines North MRT, the bus interchange, community club, and hawker centre all in one. It does also have the popular Poi Ching School, although the top right corner buildings might not be within that 1 km radius. I also like that there are future government land sales around this plot, and its integrated status will also make it the top choice among resale buyers in the future. The exit strategy is also very clear, with over 14 clusters of HDB upgraders totaling 14,000 units, many of which will have already reached MOP by the time this project TOPs in 2028. With so many boxes ticked, Parktown Residences deserves a place in the top of my list of launches in 2025 and an S rank. If you're keen to explore or check out the Parktown Residences show flat after Chinese New Year, do reach out to me on WhatsApp and I'll be happy to arrange it for you. One potential concern is the price gap between Parktown Residence and their cheaper neighbours, which are ECs, Tenet and Aurelle at Tampines. So with the price gap pretty wide, expecting Parktown, will be averaging at about $2,300 per square feet, is this a cause for concern? I'll be covering it in my future video where I'm looking at Parktown Residences, so do subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified when that video comes out. Located a few meters away from Parktown is the upcoming EC called Aurelle at Tampines, and it's also expected to launch after Parktown, so we'll be looking at around March this year. Developed by Sim Lian, who is loved by Singaporeans for their efficient layouts, this is a pretty big development comprising 760 units. One thing it loses out to Parktown is that none of the blocks are within 1 km of Poi Ching, while it also gets all the benefits of having a mega mall nearby, as well as the massive pool of HDB upgraders. This will probably be the most expensive EC ever, and I'm expecting prices to average at around $1,700 to $1,800 per square feet. Aurelle ultimately is an EC, so it comes with tighter financial restrictions and requirements, so it might not suit everybody in terms of the holding period and investment objectives. Nevertheless, it is an outstanding development that ticks many boxes and it gets an A+ rank. Moving to the west, we have one of the most hotly contested land plots in the current cycle. This is ELTA, which is also launching after Chinese New Year at the same time as Parktown Residence. Developed by MCL and CSE, which are developers with good track records known for their premium furnishings and design, this is a good sized development of 501 units. However, we are a distance away from Clementi MRT, and while there are many secondary and tertiary schools around us, it does lack a top primary school for this land plot. But what I do like is that the resale performance of properties here is very strong, and this is driven largely by Clementi's multiple million-dollar HDBs. In terms of price, Clervon is already hitting $2,200 to $2,300 per square feet. So factoring in the age and the price gap, ELTA, I'm expecting it to launch at around $2,500 to $2,600 per square feet. Having said that, ELTA represents one of the best price gap to resale in the current cycle, but it is also the last spot in the area after Clement Canopy and Clervon. So buyers will no longer enjoy the first mover advantage anymore. This is very good but not perfect, so I rate it A rank. Do stay tuned to my future video where I will be pitting ELTA against Parktown Residence since they are launching at the same time. So if you would also like to view ELTA after Chinese New Year, do reach out to me on WhatsApp and I'll be happy to share more with you at the show flat. After a very packed post-CNY launch schedule, the next OCR we have in our list will likely be Lentor Central Residences, which will likely launch in March. This is the 6th launch in the new Lentor area, once again headed by reputable Google Land, comprising 477 units, which is a good size. I've covered Lentor area extensively in my ultimate guide to Lentor launches, so do check them out. But Lentor Central does fall short compared to the rest. It is not the nearest to MRT and also lacks the top schools and NICs. Anderson Primary is also not guaranteed to be within 1 km for all the blocks. All in all, whether this will be a good buy or not would then boil down to price. Somehow, if it's priced lower than Lentor Mansion or Hillock Green, then my ranking will be improved, but for now, I do give it a C rank. Just north of the Lentor area will be the Springleaf area, where there will be an upcoming launch of the Upper Thomson Road GLS Parcel B, likely to launch in the second half of this year. This is an almost mega development with 940 units and also developed by Google Land once again. They are really cementing their position in this area. They are supposed to be a mixed-use residential and service apartment plot at Parcel A, but that has closed without any bids. So the key draw is being next to Springleaf MRT and in an area that is close to nature. Right now, you only have landed properties over there, but that will change in the future as large plots of land between Springleaf and Lentor are now zoned as residential. On the flip side, there are no primary schools within 1 km, and the transformation, while it is massive in scale, will likely take many years for it to come to fruition. Hence, Upper Thomson Road Parcel B has its positive attributes and upside potential in the future, but it will probably require a longer holding period. I rank it a C+, which is higher than Lentor Central Residence because this is still ultimately the only property there right now. You have first mover advantage and no competition, versus Lentor Central Residences, which has slightly average or below average attributes in an area with a lot of competition. Sticking to the north, we have an upcoming launch at Canberra Crescent. This is situated along Sembawang Road and Canberra Crescent and will have 375 units developed by King Leong and Loh King Huat. They might sound unknown to you, but they do have a decent track record and are rated as Concast Band 2. What I like about this is there's some transformation happening nearby at Sembawang Shipyard, which will be transformed into a future seafront district. And you will also be surrounded by a healthy pool of HDB upgraders. However, it is still a distance away from Canberra MRT, not far but not really walkable as well, and there are no good schools that stands out at the moment. Hence, I think if you're a resale buyer looking for property in Canberra, you might prefer the older resale properties there because they are all closer to the MRT and also at a lower price. So I give Canberra Crescent GLS a D+. Next, we'll be moving to Upper Bukit Timah where we have a GLS at the Souza Avenue. Developed by Sustain Land, this will have 355 units and is 670 meters to the new Hume MRT, likely to launch in the later part of 2025. While I like that the developers are okay, you also get Hume MRT, and this is also a low density area which might suit nature lovers. But apart from having a future government land sales next to you, I don't see much else worth liking about this land plot. It is still a mid-sized development, so whether you get full facilities is unknown. There are no good schools, and it also lacks a ready pool of buyers since there are no HDBs in the vicinity. Hence, I rate the Souza Avenue a D rating. Now, at this juncture, I would like to restate that these are just my personal views and analysis, and it doesn't represent my company's views or even the developer's views. Now, every development has its pros and cons, and unfortunately for this development, and maybe some others in the list, I just see that there are more negatives than positives. Wanting to be objective sounds easy, but it's more difficult to walk the talk. So do support me by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It keeps me motivated to continue to give you my most unbiased and objective advice about property. In 2025, there will be 2 more ECs that will be launching after Aurelle at Tampines. The next one should be Plantation Close Parcel B. Developed by Hoi Hub and Sunway, this is a 560 unit development estimated to launch around the second quarter of this year. It is situated directly next to Novo Place, which is also from the same developers and launched in December 2024. To date, it is 88.1% sold at an average price of about $1,656 per square feet. So I do expect this new EC to also sell at or slightly higher than this price. There are many things to like about this plot. It is within walking distance to Bukit Batok West MRT and 1 km to the popular Princess Elizabeth School. Most importantly, the upside will come from Tengah being transformed into a new township, and that will naturally give us a clear exit strategy to the huge pool of HDB upgraders in the future. All in all, this is a great choice for Westies looking for an EC and deserves an A+ rank. And again, if you want to buy an EC, you should just buy Novo Place if there are still units that suit you left, because the Parcel B plot will at best launch at the same price, but most probably more expensive than Novo Place. We started the OCR series in the East and have come full circle to also end in the East. There will be the first EC in 10 years at Jalan Loyan Besar in Pasir Ris. Many of you will know this location as the open air car park across downtown East. This is a huge development with 710 units developed by developers with good track records, which are Qingjian and ZACD Group. You will get ample amenities from downtown East, while in the larger radius, Pasir Ris is also developing into a transport hub with the Cross Island Line. Now, the resale performance has been strong, and with the last condo Sea Horizon completing over 10 years ago, I think that there will be strong pent-up demand for a new EC in the area. However, this is still a distance away from the MRT, and there are no top primary schools. So HDB upgraders in Pasir Ris might lean towards condos that are closer to the MRT instead of this plot. All in all, I think that the Jalan Loyan Besar EC gets a B+ rank. And finally, the last condo we'll be covering in our OCR Ultimate Guide to New Launches is also at Tampines. Tampines is really having a resurgence in 2025. Developers know how much buyers love integrated developments, and this was the most popular land bid after ELTA with 6 bids as well. The eventual winners were Hoi Hub and Sunway, which won the bid by just 1.9% higher than the second next bid. There are many things to like about this development. Apart from being integrated and linked directly to Tampines West MRT, it is also within 1 km of the popular St. Hilda's Primary School. Being in the mature Tampines estate, it is rare to have condos situated so near to the MRT, and I foresee that this will be a favorite amongst HDB upgraders in the future. And unlike Parktown Residence, where there will be future competition from ECs, this development is the only one there for now. So this lack of competition will likely be a boost to its upside potential in the future. In conclusion, the Tampines Street 94 plot is another top new launch in 2025 and deserves an S rank. Whew, now that's a really long list, so let's recap and see how all these OCR new launches stack up against one another. Please also leave your comments below to let me know what you think about my rankings, whether you agree or disagree. I would love to hear them out. I think that OCR new launches in 2025 will have very contrasting performances. On one hand, we have very clear winners that probably are developments that will sell themselves. On the other hand, we have a handful that I just don't see much positives at the moment. Developers also know this, so popular developments such as ELTA or Parktown might actually price at the higher end of the range just because the developers can. As of this recording, the Aurelle by CDL, which is also a very popular development, and the developers knew this, ended up pricing it above my own expectations as well. So the moral of the story is, don't neglect other developments such as Bagnall Haus, Upper Thomson Road, or Lentor Central just because I've got them lower now. Because ultimately, it is about your entry price. And if some of these developments might price it so attractively, it can actually compensate for some of its flaws. Now, it is still going to be very overwhelming with so many options out there, and that is why I do the research so that you don't have to. If you are a buyer who likes numbers, data-driven analysis, and a systematic approach to property, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp or fill up the Google form linked below, and I'll be happy to reach out to you. And with that, we've come to the end of part 1 of our Ultimate Guide to New Launches 2025 edition, where I've covered OCR properties. Do like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you'll be notified of my next video, which is part 2, where I'll cover RCR properties, and I'll see you there.